Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Speaks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am coming on here today with this live to get into some things. Yes, we are going to talk about it. Men, listen, let's start over. I'm your girl Chic from Chic Speaks, and as a married woman of 18 years, I come on my platform to help women get that ring, to help women get married. I'm sorry, got a little distracted. Want to make sure my volume is good. Let me know in the comments if my volume is straight. Please, please, if you can't hear me, let me know. But yes, I come on here as a married woman of 18 years to help my fellow sisters out when it comes to getting married, how to know if he's the one, the signs to look for, when to grab your purse and get out. Like, that's what I do. So I'm coming on here today to talk to our ladies about this whole ghosting culture. Like, it's just this whole thing out here where I'm hearing that men are like, dating these women, and then things seem to be all good. And then the next thing you know, like, they have dipped out and the women are like, yo, what happened? I'm lost. Like, I don't know what happened. So I want to come on here and talk about ghosting. Like, what's the deal? Have you done it? Have you experienced it? Like, what does it mean for you? I have a video I'd like to share with a man graciously, helping a sister out with breaking it down to explain what exactly is ghosting, from a male's perspective when he is the one ghosting the woman. So we're going to get into that. I also want to talk about the signs that women can pay attention to identify if someone's kind of not all the way in it as they are, and to know when to get out, like when it's time to like bail out. And because a lot of times women will stay in a situation far too long, and now they're emotionally invested, they even maybe had a child with this person, and the person has jumped ship and they've moved on to the next. So now you've left the relationship with more than what you came in with. And oftentimes that's a child, or sometimes it went as far as a marriage and now you're trying to get out and you have all these things, this life that you built together. So we're going to talk about all these things as you come in. Please, please like, share, subscribe, and participate with the conversation. Let me know your thoughts. Again, we are talking about ghosting, the whole ghosting culture. So I'm going to go ahead and share this video with this man, talking about like, yo, sis, let me help you out. Let me tell you what this ghosting culture is all about. Each one teach one. So let's get into it. Please participate, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Fair use.
Hey yo, what's up, people? Listen, I'm going to be creating a little mini series as to why men ghost you. There are a lot of reasons. The main reason that I have on my mind right now, off the top of my head, is men. Most men don't want to hurt you. They don't have the words to communicate why this is not going to work out. So they ghost you. And again, me telling you this is not excusing men of their bad behavior, but men know early on, quickly after the first conversation, they know if it's gonna last long or not. And it's as easy as putting a woman in a category or in a box to classify her um, as somebody they dealt with prior. Whether it was an ex or whether it was a situationship, this isn't a case of like men just being assholes, but it's more of a survival instinct of just like where to place their energy at. A lot of times they say woman A reminds me of woman B, who turned out to be a waste of my time. So woman C gets placed in a, well, I'm never taking her serious type box. Please understand that I'm not here to rain on your dreams. I'm only here to give you some insight into a male's mind. When you get ghosted, I need you to understand that one, it's God's protection. Two, when you get ghosted, it's proof that that person was never really into you and they only pretended. So now instead, you're dwelling on why he's starting to act different or why they suddenly went missing. But in reality, you need to just let go. You need to stop having relationship problems with somebody that you're not even in a relationship with. You need to stop seeking closure with somebody who gave you their ass to kiss. Most importantly, you need to read the signs so this doesn't keep happening. I want you to understand that when you stay off your back, right? When you save your cookie, right? It is a lot easier to move on when things burn, if things burn. When someone shows you they don't appreciate you, like show them how much you value yourself by your ability to walk away and know your worth. I think the quickest thing to help you see the signs is to write all your issues down that you have with that person so you can see it visually. It'll help you process issues better. And it's an opportunity to love yourself more. It's an opportunity to grow. Just to be clear, some men ghost you because they don't know how to confront you with the truth on why they are leaving. So they choose the lesser of the two evils. They don't know how to confront you. So they walk away. At the end of the day, if a guy ghosts you, understand that you're not the one, or he's not the one for your life. Don't let them show you twice. I think it's best for you to move on. God.
So there you go. He's like, ladies, if he ghosts you, he ain't the one. Pay attention to the signs. Don't let him ghost you twice. So this brother dropped a lot of gems, and I think it's many things that we as women can learn from. We might find it hard to hear, but he said a lot of things that needed to be said. And I'll start by saying this live was inspired because I was talking to a young lady, and she was like, hey, I was dating a guy for a couple of months, or just a little bit shy of 2 months, and he ghosted me. And I'm like, what? And then finally, when he kind of responded to me, it's just like, well, now you're being a stalker. If I'm not talking to you, that means I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. And it's just like, sir, come on. We were in a whole relationship. You mean to tell me that I didn't mean enough to you for you to give me an explanation as to why you no longer wanted to continue the relationship? So as this young man said, that men sometimes don't know, they may not want to hurt you, or they don't know how to use their words. They don't know how to find the right words to say, listen, this isn't working for me. So what I told this young lady was like, to me, it sounds like the issue really wasn't about you. It was more so him, to where he wasn't ready to give in this relationship in the manner in which you were giving. So for example, hey, they were in this relationship, no sex, no anything until, it was an official relationship, going into about a month into the relationship. Cool. But as things progressed and they started carrying on like a whole relationship, suddenly the guy's like, you're too much. It's too much for me. You're stressful. When to me, it was given that he just wanted certain things from the relationship, not the work that came with the relationship, the communication piece to the relationship, the things that this woman needed out of a relationship. It was a lot of selfishness, where it's like, okay, well, she was a benefit for him with being someone to talk to if he needed to handle things for him, dealing with his personal affairs, almost like I say a glorified personal assistant. That's what I was getting out of this. And then suddenly when she's like, hey, I need more, I need you to communicate with me. You can't just, drop off the face of the earth for 2 days and then circle back around like nothing's happened. This isn't how it works. We have to communicate. Then suddenly this is just too much. Sir, like this isn't a hard expectation. This is what grown-ups do. We communicate. Like you say what the deal is. If you don't want to talk, say, I don't want to talk. Don't disappear. So I found this video to be very fitting, because from me as a woman and how I interpret why a man will suddenly ghost a woman, this man said much of the same things. He also talked about how men early on know if whether or not they want to have something serious with you. They'll place you in a category. And this is also information that I'm privy to. I've heard men say this. I have a brother, I've heard him say it, where women are placed in categories, and there is a specific reason for the women that they deal with. I say that women are very emotional. So when you ask us, hey, why are you with him? It's going to be heavily driven from how he's making us feel. Whereas with a man, if you stop and say, yo, why is she on the team? Why are you with her? He's going to have tangible reasons as to why she is around. She she takes care of my kids. She can pay my bills. She can cook. She's good in bed. Like, they're going to give specific reasons as to why this woman is around. And those reasons may not, or more than likely will not line up to or with why you're in the relationship. So that is a whole thing as to understanding early on and paying attention to when a man is in it for selfish reasons, when they're only in it for their own personal gains. And this young lady, you know, even though she was just really heartbroken, I told her that it was a good thing that she learned early on that this person wasn't in it for the long haul and that they were about self, because it could have carried on longer. It could have resulted in a whole baby coming out of this situation, or even all the way down to the altar. And then you later seeing or choosing to pay attention to the signs that this person is basically a narcissist, like basically self-absorbed and don't want to be in a relationship. They just want the benefits of what comes with a relationship. And far often, women will stay in a situation for like too damn long, you know, even though these signs are there that this person isn't the one, or that this person is only there for their own personal gain, just for the sake of saying, hey, I got a man, or, you know, I don't want to be lonely, or it took me years to meet this person. Like, there are people out there who will settle just because of, or for any of those reasons, plus a whole lot more that I did not name. This young man also talks about, you know, when he says, read the signs, what kind of energy are they giving you? Because if it's not what you're wanting to get, or you're feeling like it's not the same energy that you're putting out, you have to accept it for what it is. You know, you can't try to come up with your own narrative as to, well, why he's not returning your phone calls, you know, why he's not responding to your texts, why he's disappearing for like 2-3 days and then popping up like nothing's happened, and then turning it around as though it's your fault. Back to with this young man talking about men not having the words or not wanting to hurt your feelings. Men, I'm here to say that women will appreciate you finding some, even if it's a doggone whole one sentence, to say, hey, you know what, this isn't working. Even if you called them on the phone, sent them a text and say, you know, this isn't working. This relationship, I can't be in it anymore. I'd rather be your friend. This is too much. Say something, because the worst thing, or the thing that women, what we don't like, is to just be left hanging and to get in our own head and have to wonder what happened, what went wrong, because we can't even stop to try to even learn from it, you know, when we don't even know what happened or what went wrong. And I want to talk about, I learned about this whole ghosting thing. Did y'all know it's levels to it? You got multiple types of ghosting. So I found this other video with this young lady describing the different types of ghosting. And I want to share that video with you too, because some of you may have experienced it and not know that that's kind of what it was, that it was just another form of ghosting. So let me share that one as well, because I found it to be very informative, and I definitely would like to know what your thoughts are, what your thoughts are pertaining to these 3 different types of ghosting, and if you've experienced any on the end of someone ghosting you, or if you've ghosted someone in any of these ways. So let's get into this video. Fair use.
The 3 types of ghosting. Number 1 is soft ghosting. So this is where someone gradually pulls back so that they can cut off communication, eventually altogether, or just occasional communication with you. This shows up as no longer really reaching out, maybe just liking your pictures, sending an emoji, the bare minimum response. The second type is called full ghosting. This is where they vanish, disappear with no explanation. Cutthroat. The third type of ghosting is called breadcrumbing. Now this is sneaky. This is the bare minimum form of communication. They do the bare minimum just so that you still think that they're still interested in you.
Okay, so let me run that back again, because remember, y'all, it's 3 types of ghosting. So you may have been ghosted and not realize you were ghosted. So I'm gonna run that one back so you can really take that one in, because I thought that was I thought that one was kind of deep right there. It really got me thinking.
Let's talk about the 3 types of ghosting. Number 1 is soft ghosting. So this is where someone gradually pulls back so that they can cut off communication, eventually altogether, or just occasional communication with you. This shows up as no longer really reaching out, maybe just liking your pictures, sending an emoji, the bare minimum response. The second type is called full ghosting. This is where they vanish, disappear with no explanation. Cutthroat. The third type of ghosting is called breadcrumbing. Now this is sneaky. This is the bare minimum form of communication. They do the bare minimum just so that you still think that they're still interested in you.
So there you go, ladies. We got 3 types of ghosting: soft ghosting, we have full ghosting, and breadcrumbing. So remember, I talked about a young lady I was speaking to, and she said she got ghosted. Going off of that definition, or the 3 different types of ghosting, this person was soft ghosted and then full ghosted, all in the span of about 5 days. In about 5 days, it started with the soft ghosting, and then a couple of days later, it was like the full ghosting. So it's unfortunate, because the thing about when people choose to ghost people, like, they're not taking into an account that these are people's feelings that you're dealing with. So I have no problem with you saying, hey, this isn't working for me. The problem is when you as an adult can't find the words to just say that, or say when you circle back around and you do find some words to say, you put it on that person to say, oh, well, I checked out because you're too much, or now you're stalking. Basically, if I ghosted you, then why are you still calling me? You're stalking now. And that's not how it works. I'm reaching out, okay, because we're in a whole relationship and I haven't heard from you and I've never experienced something like this. Many people, they don't get ghosted on a regular. So when they experience it, they don't even realize what the heck it is, or even know, or that there's even a term for it. I just started hearing this term. Like, as I said, I've been married for 18 years. So I've been out the dating game for a minute. So hearing things like this, I'm like, wow, like this is what's going on right now. I remember as a teenager, you experiencing kind of some things kind of like that. But as a grown ass woman, like, this is what men and even women are doing out here today versus using their words. So I have a whole problem with that, because I feel like as adults, we should be able to speak about what we're feeling, so therefore that person can take that in and move accordingly. So I have this video where this man was talking about ghosting women and maybe in it being beneficial, for the man, as far as with going that route with ghosting the woman, and it maybe being healthy. So it was kind of interesting. So I want to show this video as well, and definitely, let me know your thoughts on what he had to say, because it was definitely like a different angle as to where he was going with it. But, it's his perspective. So I want to share it and get your thoughts on, how you feel about what he had to say when it comes to ghosting. So let's get into it. Fair use.
Reminds me how I feel about you. It reminds me that I really do want to be with you sometimes. It reminds me of the good times.
Okay, let's start.
First of all, sometimes you have to ghost somebody. Because talking to him reminds me how I feel about you. It reminds me that I really do want to be with you sometimes. It reminds me of the good times, and I can't do that right now. And I know you care about how you feel and how she feels, right? And you care about this woman's perspectives, but I also know you cannot lead people on. Sometimes some people think you talking to them, it's a glimmer of hope. Sometimes you can't give people a glimmer of hope. You keep thinking from a rational standpoint, she's just seeking closure. But if he answers her phone call, if they meet up and have coffee, to that person, that can be like, well, maybe it ain't over. And maybe she calls again and texts again. And then you get back into this cycle. Women scream so loud that they don't want a man to lead them on. And he's not leading her on. But you want him to give her more signals so she can interpret what she think it means. I bet you one thing, when he blocks her and don't respond to her calls, it tells her everything she needs to know. He don't want to talk to me. What's confusing about that? But I guarantee if he did pick up the phone and they did have a good hour-long, 2-hour conversation and emotions get riled up, I guarantee she could leave that conversation possibly thinking that there's still hope there. Is that what you suggest he do? Yeah. I know sometimes you feel like you deserve an explanation, but sometimes I just can't give it to you right now because I'm emotionally not in a position where I feel like I can have this conversation without sending you a mixed signal or without me re-getting my heart involved. And so I don't want to put myself in that situation. And I think we got to respect that.
Okay, so there you go. So this is a man perspective on ghosting and how some men may ghost you just because they feel like you can't handle the rejection, and continuing to talk to you is just going to consist of you continuing trying to keep them around. I get all of that. I completely get that. To me, he's talking more so from that perspective where prior to the ghosting, to him, he made it clear that this isn't working. And sis just wasn't getting it. So finally he was like, okay, I'm finna ghost her. Forget it. I ain't talking to her. I'm more so talking about those situations where it just happened overnight, where the person just almost like dropped off the face of the earth and didn't give any type of explanation to this woman. And she's left wondering, like, what happened? Like, what happened? I'm talking about those situations. So in those situations, I feel like at least there should be one attempt where the person did say, hey, this isn't working for me. This is why. I'd rather just be friends or just cut all ties and move on. I think women would rather have that versus you leave off, your last conversation on Thursday was all good, and then you don't hear from the person Friday and Saturday. You call, you text, and then on Sunday, they respond via text saying, hey, this is stalkerish. You know, I stopped talking to you for a reason. I unfollowed you. Leave me alone. It's just like, that doesn't make sense. It's just like going from 0 to 10 when our last conversation was we were all good. So in those situations, listen, Ace, I hear you with what you're saying right there, you know, because to me, that will fall in line with, okay, now I've told this woman, hey, this not working for this reason, that reason. And after that, she's still continuing to try to pursue me. No is not an answer for her. Like, I get that. And you do have those situations, and that happens a lot. Some people cannot handle rejection. They're like, listen, it ain't over till I say it's over. So we finna keep this thing going. I've invested time, money, tears. Like, no, this isn't over. So I get it. But those situations where there was no dialogue about the why is it being over, like, we need to talk about it. That's just not cool. That's not cool. I'd love to know, hear what you have to say about ghosting. Like, have you been ghosted? Do you feel like, okay, it's no problem? Yeah, just stop talking to the person, block the person, when you're done with them. Or do you feel like, we're adults. We should talk to the person, let them know if whether or not, it was working for us, or tell them, it wasn't, because if somebody's ghosting you, it wasn't working, for them. So do you feel like, the person does owe the other person an explanation, and they should say, hey, this isn't working. It's just not, we're not on the same page. I'd rather cut, our losses and go our separate ways. Like, listen, when I say women are lost out here with this ghosting thing, like, they're lost, because I was completely shook on it. I had to research, like, wait a minute, like, what's going on here? Is this what we doing out here? And listen, ladies, this is what's happening out here. Protect yourself, protect your heart, protect your soul. As the first gentleman said in the video, ladies, take it slow when you are meeting these men. Don't be so quick to give up the goods, because sometimes, men, that's all that they're in it for. So you don't want to move too fast. You want to, give it some time to try to see if this person is really into you, or if it's just a physical type of thing, because oftentimes, we feel better when we know we walking away from something without losing something. So if you walking away from somebody, oh, I'm glad I didn't give him them, or I'm glad I didn't have any kids with him, or I'm glad we didn't get married. Like, we tend to feel better when we feeling like we're kind of leaving the same way we came in. But I think it hits differently when we know that within that relationship, we gave up some things that were very personal to us. And then someone just completely did us wrong. And we're feeling like, what the hell? Like, I didn't deserve this. So, ladies, we just got to be strategic with how we move. We have to move with intent. As I say, my channel is all about helping ladies get to the altar. If you desire marriage, I am your girl. I've been married for 18 years, so I know how to get married. I know those things, those key indicators that men are often looking for in a wife. Check out some of my other videos where I talk about those things, those how to detect if he's into you, how to keep his attraction, keep his interest, all of those good things, because they make a difference when it comes to relationships and having longevity all the way to the point of marriage. So please follow me on Instagram on chic.speaks. I post a lot of videos and things pertaining to relationships, give you that food for thought, things to think about to kind of get the conversation popping. And also make sure you're following me over here on YouTube at Chic Speaks. And please make sure you like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this whole ghosting culture. Enlighten me. I love to read the comments. So I definitely get into the comments and, respond. So until the next broadcast, peace.